As ICE continues on its mission to rid our streets of illegal aliens, there's a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback. It's actually getting more and more and more. And I think that the vast majority of it is based around lies. I say the vast majority. There are, it's as hard as it is for us to believe this, there are however many hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Americans that are truly just full blown believers in open borders. In other words, they just legitimately don't care about America. And if anything, they would love to see America overrun by illegal aliens, by terrorists, by whoever. These are the truly anti-American folks that are around us, and there's a lot of them. Yeah, I don't know if it's 1% or 5%, but there's a good chunk of Americans that are self-destructive. They are enemies of the state, so to speak. I say so to speak because it's hard to classify somebody in that regard without evidence. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to go based upon what my perception of their heart is. They want America to fail. They want us destroyed. And maybe I'm naive. Maybe it's 20%. Who knows? I would say likely it's in that 1 to 5%. But then there's a whole bunch of people. I don't know, 20, 30% that are just wrong. And wrong in a way. It's not that they hate America. It's that they think that America is better off with illegal aliens. And the way they look at it, and the reason they're able to justify this in their mind is that they conflate immigrants with illegal aliens. They look at, oh, my buddy, he's been here for 75 years and whatever, and he wouldn't hurt a fly, and he contributes to a society, and just because he crossed the border illegally back in the 1950s doesn't mean that he should be deported. Okay, whatever, they they've been gaslighted by legacy media, by Democrats, by far too many Republicans. There's a lot of people out there who do abide by this concept that, it's, do we need more secure borders? Sure, but we got to get amnesty. We've got to protect these people, and ICE is just deporting everybody. And that's the other side of the gaslighting, is the notion that, and we're going to see examples of that here in a minute. Oh, ICE, they're just going after anybody that has darker skin than them. It's like, it's how that lie has been able to be sustained. I understood in the beginning, but I was like, oh, and again, call me naive, but I thought, once they start to see, once they being the legacy media and Democrats, oh, now I'm starting to feel like, yeah, I definitely was naive. Once these people start to see that, hey, yeah, no, ICE is going after a very very targeted set of people with final deportation orders. They're ready to go. They're going after those people. Okay, and if along the way they find other illegal aliens, so be it. They grab them as well, right? But it's not like they're trying to target American citizens or people that are here legally. And yet, for some reason, that lie has not only persisted, it's gotten worse. We're seeing it with all these protests against ICE, that where, oh my gosh, blah 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 blah. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but I am at a loss. Usually, I try to stay focused on solutions. I try to make sure that we get the information out there to as many people as possible and allow people to act. I don't know what the solution is to this degree of brainwashing, because it's really, at this point, that's the only thing I could think of that it could possibly be. They've seen the evidence. They know exactly how many people who shouldn't have been deported have been deported. And the correct answer, just in case you don't know, is zero. The only people that are getting deported are those that are supposed to be deported. It's not like there's American citizens or whatever that are out there getting deported left and right. No, none of them are. Everyone who gets deported is being deported because they're supposed to be deported. And yet, somehow, again, I think likely because of brainwashing, somehow so many of these people are, now you get the idea. They're lost. And I don't know how to handle that. That's something where the truth can't necessarily break through to them because of this brainwashing, because of the indoctrination. And it gets to a point to where people become so engulfed in an idea that even if the idea is proven wrong, logically, common sense, evidentially, there's just nothing that you can do to make them think that it's good to deport illegal aliens. That's where I would say a good chunk of these people are. And unfortunately, again, we're talking 20 to 30% of the population. Now, does that mean that 20 to 30% of the population is out there protesting or blocking ICE vehicles or ramming ICE agents' cars or anything like that? No, no, no. But you sit them aside, and maybe I hope it's lower than that. I'm out here in California, so I get to see quite a bit of it. But hopefully it's lower than that. But there are a lot of them. We'll just say that 10%, 20%, whatever. These are people that, if they had their druthers, ICE would not exist. There would be no immigration raids. There would be no that everybody who's here is here, and treat them as equals. Give them hotel rooms. Give them Medicaid. Give them food and whatever. Give them jobs. It's self-destructive, and yet they've gone down that road. And I don't know if there's a recourse. I don't think there is. But with that said, that doesn't mean we're going to give up. We're going to keep trying. We're going to hit up a lot of people, and I'm sure that on today's episode, I'm going to get pretty heated because this kind of stuff really makes me upset. It really does. It's not just the illegal aliens themselves. It's the lies that are being told on their behalf. It's the gaslighting, the indoctrination, and yes, the brainwashing that we're getting to see on a daily basis. So for today's episode, we'll be talking about 3 or 4 stories that highlight exactly what we're facing with this onslaught, this invasion. We could say, oh, it's great, awesome. We've got the borders under control. President Trump has done everything he can to make the border invasion at a trickle. But guess what, folks? The invasion has already happened. It's already embedded. There is already an infiltration of tens of millions of illegal aliens. And I want you to keep something in mind. I am a legal immigrant. I was not born in the United States of America, so I'm not coming at this like, oh, it's got to be just natural born, blah blah blah. No, I mean, look, I'm not against proper immigration. I think it needs to be cut down to a trickle until we can get rid of the bulk of the illegal aliens that are already here. But with that said, I'm in favor of legal immigration. I like that. Just let's fix our massive problem first. And President Trump and the White House, the administration, they're doing what they can, fighting against the activist judges, fighting against activist states. It's a challenge. And this is why, when people point to the midterms, this is it. This is the only thing, to me, the only thing that really, not the only thing, but this is the big one. This is the reason why the midterms are important to me. It's because we need, I'm not a huge fan of the Republican Party or what it's been doing, well, for a long time, at least on Capitol Hill. But the alternative is disastrous. So we need to win these midterms bigly. We need to advance the Republican majorities. Can't take any steps back because we're barely getting what we need. We're not getting what we need. President Trump is still having to work off of executive orders, which is horrible. That's why it is going slower than I think a lot of us would have wanted. We would have wanted to see even more action, and not for the lack of trying, because that's, at least on this regard, when it comes to deportations, this is something where they have been going very hard as they can. They need to go harder, and the only way they can do that is if we have a very successful midterm election. With that said, there are times in our lives when we have to rely on big pharma. I'm not a fan of big pharma. I'm not a big fan of pharmaceuticals in general. I like natural stuff. All right. I'm a big fan of healing your body with good food and sunlight and proper sleep and exercise and herbs and all that stuff. Right. But there are times when we need antibiotics, when we need chronic meds for a disease that we just can't control through natural processes. And this is why I've been a longtime partner with my good friends over at Jace. You can check them out, patriot.tv/meds, patriot.tv/meds, and check out Jace Medical. They can get you long-term storage supplies of antibiotics, chronic meds. You got diabetes, heart disease, whatever. They have a whole bunch of that stuff. Plus a whole. I was one of these days. I need to actually get somebody over there onto an interview because there really is. There's like a plethora of products they have available now that they didn't have when I first started with them. What 3-4 years ago? Gosh, it's been. I think it's actually been longer than that. I've been working with them for a long time. I am a customer. I get my Jace case. So check them out. Patriot.tv/meds and get your hands on some long-term storage meds today. We've talked about how ICE agents are putting their lives at risk every day because of these sickos, these crazy people that are out there ramming their cars, sometimes even, pardon me, trying to get violent in other ways with them, just for the sake of trying to protect the illegal aliens. And look, this is a sickness. I've talked about it before, how they're brainwashed. These people are brainwashed. And a very dangerous and arguably perfect example of this came out of Virginia. And we're not talking about like some crazy guys that are out there in their compound, getting ready to go whatever. No. We're talking about a high school assistant principal and his brother. Watch.
2 brothers have been arrested, charged with threatening to shoot police and ICE agents, and one of them is an assistant principal at Kempsville High School. Yesterday, Beach Police arrested 54-year-old John Bennett. School officials say he's currently on leave from his position there. The other suspect is 59-year-old Mark Bennett. Court documents reveal several disturbing details about this investigation. So let's send it over to 10 on Your Side's Ethan Krause, who joins us live outside of that school. Ethan.
Yeah, Aisha, good afternoon. And you said it, the court documents do reveal details leading to the arrest of Kempsville High School Assistant Principal John Bennett. Now, according to the Virginia Beach Police Department, John Bennett and his brother Mark were both arrested on November 16th after police received information that the brothers threatened to commit acts of violence against local police and ICE agents. Court documents reveal that the brothers were overheard talking at a restaurant where Mark Bennett mentioned how he had an assault rifle with the ability to utilize explosive rounds that could penetrate protective vests. He also mentioned flying to Las Vegas to meet with like-minded people and how he would return with, quote, enforcement ideas and plans. The documents went on to state that John Bennett added statements of support and enthusiasm for the suggested violence and also expressed interest in joining his brother on the trip to Vegas. Now, both brothers were arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit malicious wounding.
Folks, pray for ICE agents, pray for all law enforcement, of course. But ICE agents are being targeted. We know that. That's obvious. The violence has gone up over 1,000% just in the last year. And it's going to get worse. It's getting worse. It's not getting any better. This is a sad example of how, otherwise normal seeming people, again, an assistant principal at a high school in Virginia is plotting to use explosive rounds against ICE agents. It's like, yeah, that's not normal, but that is quickly becoming our new normal. This is what we're faced with. This is what ICE agents are facing on a regular basis. They are putting their lives at risk. And yes, the recruitment is going very well. I'm very glad that Tom Holman was able to get the money that he needed to make this work better. But the adversaries are going after us hard, even harder than I would have anticipated. I try to stay on top of these things. I try to anticipate what the next moves are, but we're getting into Crazyville. We have been for a long time, of course, really since the Obama years. But the degree of craziness is going up, up, up. They're insane. They want to literally kill you and me. But at this point, right now, their primary focus is on ICE agents. For whatever reason, because they don't enjoy their freedoms, they don't enjoy their sovereignty, they hate America. For some reason, they want to protect illegal aliens at all costs, even if that means killing.
Today, I get to tell you on why we're closed. As you guys have seen, there have been a huge impact and a huge growth in ICE detentions, Border Patrol presence here in Charlotte, in the Queen City. So right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. We have shut down. We are an ice cream shop that 80%, 90% of our customers are Latino. As of right now, I cannot take the risk to bring my employees to be profiled because a lot of them speak Spanish. They look like me. I look like the profile that they're looking for. So it is a risk that I am not willing to take.
All right. First and foremost, wow, 90%, 90% of your customers are illegal aliens. That's wow. You're definitely part of the problem, Javier. You're definitely part of the problem, and has something to do with your race. Has something to do with your legal status. If your store serves 90% to illegal aliens, that's a challenge. But let's debunk a few things. You might say, "Oh no, he didn't say it was the illegal aliens." Here's the thing, and this is a message to anybody out there who's as stupid as Javier. If you are here illegally, like me, I am a legal immigrant. I am a proud citizen of the United States of America, and I am here legally. I have no fears. I have no concerns, because the last time I checked, and it's been about half an hour, but the last time I checked, there have been exactly zero people who are here legally who've been deported. Period. Nobody has been deported unless they are supposed to be deported. That's how the system works. So if you're out there, oh my gosh, I'm a legal immigrant, but I'm going to be deported by ICE because Javier says so. Javier's, I don't think he's stupid. I mean, he doesn't sound stupid. He sounds like he's gaslighting, just like most of the Democrats, far too many Republicans, almost the entirety of legacy media. ICE is doing what's called targeted raids. This is what they've been doing. They don't go searching around, what was he saying, profile. They're not looking, look for the Hispanics, look for the Latinos. Oh, there's one, go grab him, throw him in the van, and let's get him out to, send him to El Salvador. That's not what's happening. And thankfully, look, you're in my audience. Chances are 99% chance that you already know this. But we have people like Javier who are out there. They're spreading misinformation. They're spreading lies. I mean, again, this is a question. I don't think he's stupid, but those are the only two possibilities. Either Javier is just insanely stupid, like, sort of like, why would he be a business owner kind of stupid? He should be wearing a helmet kind of stupid. Or he's telling a bald-faced lie to gaslight, to indoctrinate, to brainwash, to get people all scared. Oh my gosh, if you're Hispanic, then ICE is coming after your profile because you look like Javier. It infuriates me. It absolutely infuriates me. Because again, I'm pretty sure that Javier knows exactly what reality is. He knows that ICE is going based upon targeted, vetted out lists of people who have final removal orders. That's what they're going at. I actually had, just to verify the exact wording, I actually had Grok look it up or explain it to me. Now that I'm not going to be one of those. Oh, you're an artificial intelligence attorney. That's almost as bad as being like a YouTube attorney or an ex-lawyer. You get your law degree through whatever. No, but according to Grok, it says ICE raids are intelligence-driven operations targeting specific individuals with confirmed immigration violations, such as prior removal orders, criminal convictions, or workplace violations identified via databases and tips, not random racial profiling. While higher undocumented populations in certain communities can lead to more encounters, ICE follows legal protocols prioritizing threats to public safety and border security. Indiscriminately profiling would violate constitutional protections, which agencies avoid to withstand court scrutiny. Now, think about this. If there were, as either stupid or lying Javier indicates, if they were profiling, if they were just trying, picking out and arresting and deporting anybody who's Hispanic, do you think that if they did it one time, that it wouldn't be the biggest? You would have Caitlin Collins at CNN, and you'd have every legacy media outlet just blowing it up. That's all they would talk about. You know, in other news, we found the cure for cancer, and we have a new moon colony. But my gosh, ICE captured and deported somebody who's here legally. That's the biggest news of the decade. That's exactly what would happen. And the fact that it hasn't happened explains to you why I am leaning towards Javier being a bald-faced liar instead of Javier, the ice cream shop owner, being just insanely stupid. I don't think he's stupid, because it would take a true, clinical degree of stupidity. And I don't think that he would own an ice cream shop if he had that degree of stupidity. So he's lying. Or there's a chance, I guess there's a slight chance that he's only a little stupid, but he's been misinformed by people like him, people in legacy media or Democrats or activists or whoever who want to try to paint these ICE raids as something other than what they are, which is a righteous, lawful, constitutional attempt to get rid of just a tiny, tiny, tiny portion of the massive numbers of illegal aliens that have come into our country just, the last 40 years, let alone the last 4 under the previous administration. So no, I'm not going to sit here and let Javier lie without calling him out, or again, with the ever so slight chance that dude's just a moron.
Freeze drying again?
Never know what could happen.
Whatever the future may bring, dinner can be certain.
Visit patriot.tv/harvest today.
I'm going to play for you a video. It's about a 2-minute video, but I want you to watch it. And I want you to watch it with an open mind. Not because I agree with the message, not by any means, but because I want you to see what your friends, your relatives, your peers, people out there, what they're being hit with. And I want you to notice particularly what's being omitted. Okay? Watch through this entire 2-minute video. Again, this is from MSN Now, the former MSNBC, before they decided that they needed a rebrand, sort of like Cracker Barrel or Bud Light. They needed a rebrand. Now they're MS Now, whatever that's supposed to stand for. And they're in Charlotte. They're trying to stir up. I mean, you could see this reporter, this unbiased reporter, it just feels so bad for these people. And I want you to note what gets completely and utterly omitted from this entire 2-minute report.
Guys, we have a report. The ICE is on campus. Everybody inside. Doors closed. We're not letting anybody in. You put up barricades.
Those were the scenes here in Charlotte, North Carolina, when Border Patrol was spotted on the premises of this nonprofit, which provides child care services for the children of refugees and immigrants.
They do not honor children. They do not care about the humanity of children.
But this nonprofit is not letting fear stop them from making a difference. We've seen volunteers all day packing up items, donated items like beans, like oil, cereal. Come look over here, water, coffee, milk, everyday goods that parents are afraid to go out of their homes to get for their children in fear and uncertainty that they might not be able to come back home.
We have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people either donating, volunteering. We also want to make sure that our families know that when they're home right now, afraid and scared and feeling like they have to stay in, there's people who have that privilege who are all around the city coordinating and doing things for them.
Now, in a statement, the Department of Homeland Security has denied targeting a daycare center, but we got a hold of some footage showing Border Patrol agents on the premises of this nonprofit, Our Bridge for Kids.
What you're seeing right now is security footage provided to MS Now from Our Bridge for Kids, which says that this footage depicts Border Patrol agents parking in their parking lot, something they say has happened multiple times this week.
And the need for this food is so great right now because we just got numbers from Charlotte-Mecklenburg Public School District, which showed that as many as 30,000 students were absent from school this week, a full 20% of the student body.
There are kids that just want to talk about Pokemon and K-pop demon hunters.
They want to talk about their Halloween candy that they brought for lunch. They want to talk about what the read aloud book is. You know, they want to just be children, and we're robbing them of that. We are robbing them of the opportunity to just be innocent.
So I'm sure you noticed, they didn't refer to the legality aspect of it. This is all about these communities, these children, these poor souls that are out there, tens of thousands of students not showing up for class. Why? It's not because they're a certain race. It's not because they're whatever. It's because they are here illegally, and because their parents will be deported if they are captured. That's the part that gets omitted, that they're not supposed to be here. But here's the thing. I would argue that people are saying, oh, well, if they're not showing up for school, that means that their parents are here illegally. I would say probably not. Not all of them. Most of them. But there's going to be a good chunk of them that are not showing up for school, not because their parents are here illegally, but because they're being gaslighted. They're being indoctrinated, brainwashed, whatever you want to call it. They believe that because of legacy media and Democrats and anybody else out there who's promoting this concept, that ICE is rounding up anyone who's brown skinned, okay, anyone who's doesn't look white, that these people are all getting rounded up and jailed and deported, and they're having their citizenships revoked. That isn't happening. It's not happening. That's not what's happening here. Illegal aliens who, they could be working, they could be, whatever, they could be here for 30 years. They're still here illegally. I want to tell you, and of course they made this out to be this like, tough whatever story. I'm going to give you another, not sob story. It's actually a success story. It really truly is. There's a woman who came to the United States and had nothing, like literally nothing, just a baby. And I'll cut to the punchline. That baby was me. Came to the United States legally and had to work 2 jobs. Didn't have an education, didn't have anything. But she did raise me and my brother. And she did so extraordinarily well, I would argue. Thank you, Mom. She worked hard. She worked even harder as she went to get her master's degree. When she had her master's degree, after working a little bit in the private sector, even at an accelerated age, we'll say. At the time, the Army was paying big money for people with master's degrees to come and join the Army. So my mother served in the United States Army, and she achieved the rank of captain, very distinguished. And before she died, she had lived what I consider to be a very important and potent life. And God bless her for that. But she did it legally. She worked hard. Her story is very different from the stories of the people that currently our legacy media and Democrats and even quite a few Republicans are out there like, they just want a better life. Well, if you want a better life, there's ways for that to happen. I'm living proof of that. Okay, I was not born in the United States of America. And now I have a wonderful life. I have amazing children, amazing wife who's put up with me for over 3 decades. But I'm here legally as well. You don't have to break the law in order to experience the American dream. And if you do break the law, then you should not experience the American dream. In other words, if you come here illegally, people talk about, not all of them are violent. It doesn't matter. They're starting off right off the bat. The very first action in America is to break American law. I mean, the very first thing they do, the moment they step foot in this nation, they are breaking the law. They are stealing our sovereignty. We can talk about stealing jobs. We could talk about all the debatable aspects of it. But they contribute to the economy, and they use fake social security numbers to put into the system and whatever. Okay, great. Then do it legally. That's all I got to say. I mean, I don't want to rant here. You guys have heard these rants 500,000 times from 500 other show hosts out there. We keep saying the same things over and over again, but it's important that we do. Because the message apparently isn't getting through. It's not getting through to that MS Now reporter. It's not getting through to those people who are there working at the daycares, working at these facilities. And the problem is that all of them, everyone in that video, every single one of them is contributing to the problem. Instead of saying, oh, but the children, okay, what they should be saying is, here is a pathway to make your children American citizens, to make yourself an American citizen. There are legal methods. You don't have to start off by breaking the law. Now, am I completely, what's the word for it? And do I have no heart? It's like, oh, you don't feel bad for these children. Yeah, I do feel bad for them. I feel really bad that their parents made the stupid and illegal decision to come into this nation illegally when they had the opportunity. They had the opportunity. Oh, but not everybody gets to come. Okay, well then wait your turn. Try harder. You don't have to break the law in order to try to steal the American dream. I mean, I guess technically speaking, you would have to break the law in order to try to steal the American dream, but that's what they're doing. They're taking it from you. They're taking it from me. They're taking it from the people who did it the right way. Whether you were born here or you came here legally, the people that legacy media and Democrats are trying to gaslight us into feeling sorry for, sorry. I'm sorry not for them. I'm sorry at them for making such a poor decision. This is the only nation that, quote unquote, allows that, okay? We allow it or have been allowing it, and we're finally pushing back. Other nations have been pushing back for a long time. You can say, well, but in Europe, they're not pushing back. Well, they're starting to, because they are at a worse stage in the multicultural push, the globalist push for multiculturalism, for open borders. They're at a worse stage than we are, but we're heading in that direction. So no, MS Now, no Charlotte Daycare Center employees. I'm not going to feel sympathy for people that, whether they intended to or not, they were just trying to do what's good for them. Great. They should have done it the right way instead of done it in a way that steals our sovereignty. All right, so we already know where the root cause of our challenges are, and that is just poor immigration policy for decades. That was mostly Democrats, but there were Republicans that were involved in opening up our borders. We had a reprieve of sorts. We had some pretty good policy. Not great. Okay, I know people like, oh, it was amazing. No, it was better than anything we'd seen before. During President Trump's first term, we had good policy, and it really slowed things down to a trickle. But then Biden comes in, and during the Biden era, the auto pen era, when his handlers, the globalist elite cabal's puppets, opened the borders completely, and we saw an influx of tens of millions of illegal aliens that came through. Things have changed in the second term. President Trump has done pretty much everything that we have been asking for outside of H-1B. I'm not going to talk about that today. Staying focused here. Besides, that's a legal immigration thing. We're talking about the illegals. And with the illegals, yes, things have been much better, especially with the ICE deportations. I like to see it tenfold, but again, that's a discussion for another day. But here's the thing. So we already know root cause of the problem. We already know that the blame can be pointed, obviously, at not just the illegal aliens, but also the NGOs and the various organizations that have attempted to bring them over, to help them along the way, to get them figure out ways to keep our borders open and to get them here, right? But there's another culprit where we need to be pointing our fingers, and that would be at the American businesses that are luring these people to us. They're giving them reasons to come to the United States. It's not, it's not, a lot of times people say, oh, they just want to come over here and oh, they just want to get welfare and all this stuff. For a good chunk, that is true, obviously. We've seen that everywhere. But I would say a majority, look at this truly as opportunity. This is the bill of goods they're sold. They're saying, you know, jobs aplenty, everything's aplenty in the United States. If you come over here, you'll get a job, and you'll get a good paying job, and you'll be able to do yada, 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 yada. These are lies a lot of the times, okay? It's made out to be better than it really is. And a perfect example of the overarching lie was thwarted, thankfully, praise God for that, in Michigan when currently it's happening now. I shouldn't say it's been thwarted altogether. So far, there've only been charges filed and arrests made, but it's not done yet. But this is a pretty big deal with, you know, over 250 illegals that were brought over for the sake of work as plumbers. And this is just one of how thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of small and medium-sized businesses that are contributing to attracting illegal aliens across our borders. Watch.
All right, now to that Plymouth Township couple accused of using hundreds of illegal workers in a secret staffing scheme for their plumbing business.
And that couple's business reportedly earned tens of millions of dollars. 7 News Detroit obtained a copy of the criminal complaint accusing the couple of conspiracy, transporting and harboring unauthorized aliens, and money laundering.
7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham is talking to a neighboring business and getting insight into the case from a former federal prosecutor.
This is the business in question that has a Metro Detroit couple in hot water with federal investigators.
It's not just simply an immigration case that's charged, it's also money laundering.
And these are the federal documents investigators say detail the inner workings of the plumbing empire built by Moises Orduña Rios and his wife Raquel over a 5-year period. The Plymouth Township couple owned Orduña Plumbing, Manpower Supply, and allegedly hired undocumented workers, took their passports, and crammed them into tight living quarters. These photos from the criminal complaint. The federal complaint focuses on Rochester, New York, but Michigan, Ohio, and North Carolina are also mentioned as places the company operates. According to the complaint, out of 253 workers, only 6 were in the U.S. legally and permitted to work. The complaint claims the husband and wife generated $74 million in their plumbing business that was based out of Michigan.
So whenever you use money that is unlawful and you deposit it into a bank and you manipulate the banking system, that's money laundering. And that's what the government's alleging here.
Former federal prosecutor Matthew Schneider reviewed the 27-page complaint, which mentions investigators interviewing the workers on numerous occasions and the company's use of the WhatsApp messaging app.
In this case, you've got physical evidence, statement of the people arrested, and the government was listening to the communications of the defendants. So you actually have all 3 of those things. And whenever you have a criminal defendant speaking and being recorded, and the government has that evidence, that's extremely powerful, and the burden on that is really hard to overcome.
The company headquarters is in Plymouth Township, where we stopped to see if anyone was present who could speak to the allegations. No one was there. We then went next door.
It's pretty crazy how big the operation was, you know, with very little activity that was there.
Jeff Goebbels, a golf pro, runs his business in an adjacent office space. He said he'd see about 3 people in and out of the office, and he's stunned by the allegations.
Yeah, it's kind of frightening that they could get that deep. It just looked like a normal business that I didn't see a lot of like work trucks coming in and out, but that it was that detailed with the immigration issues that are going on today, it's pretty interesting.
The couple, whose address comes back to this $1.5 million mansion in Plymouth Township, were released Tuesday on conditions after appearing in Michigan Eastern District Court. The couple's next court date is scheduled for December 2nd in New York. In Plymouth Township, Darren Cunningham, 7 News Detroit.
All right, thank you so much, Darren.
So no, this isn't just about stealing our sovereignty. This isn't just about taking away and changing the culture. This isn't just about permanent Democrat Party rule. It isn't even just about the machinations of the globalist elite cabal. Sometimes, a good chunk of it is just about greed. It's just about super cheap labor, people that they can control. Okay, these people, yeah, I'm not going to feel sorry for them because, again, they did come here to steal our sovereignty. But you have to at least assume that they didn't realize that they were going to be come over here and basically be put to work as the equivalent of slave labor, at least the modern day equivalent. I hate using the word slave because it's obviously they're not slaves, but their passports are taken. They're not allowed to move about. They're crammed into poor living conditions, and they're told where to go and what to do. And that's not slavery, because I assume that they're getting paid a very little amount, but getting paid at least a little bit. And what else can they do? Now, again, I'm not not saying, oh, they're the victims here, but it's not like, I don't think they signed up for this. And here's one out of however many, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of U.S. businesses that take advantage of open borders, take advantage of our decades of poor immigration policy. This is obviously not the root cause of the problem, but businesses like these are the ones that perpetuate the problem, that make the problem possible here in the United States. This is one business that was taken down. So we need to get busy. We need to find the other thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of businesses out there that are destroying our nation for the sake of greed. I'm very hopeful that I've made it crystal clear over the months, over the years, that I am not a fan of pharmaceuticals. With that said, I do understand and I appreciate there are times when we need access to certain drugs. Maybe you have a chronic ailment and you haven't been able to find a natural solution to treat or even cure your ailment. What about antibiotics? Am I against antibiotics? No. Praise God, I haven't had to use any for a very long time. We were trying to figure it out. We were able to trace it back. I think it's 2011, the last time I had to take an antibiotic of any sort. So yeah, awesome. Praise God for that. There are those that like to use antibacterial. No, sorry. What are they called? Antiparasitics, right? Like ivermectin. And look, I got no problem with that. I actually would encourage those who want to take ivermectin for various reasons, do so. I'm more against big pharma's control over American lifestyles. That's what I'm really fully against. I'm not saying don't ever take medicines. Every single one of them is bad, right? I don't take many, but then again, I do have members of my family who do take them, who take them on a daily basis. But what happens if you can't get the meds that you need? What happens if the supply chain breaks down, if there's war in Taiwan and we get involved and China cuts off our pharmaceutical ingredients? There are a lot of things that could happen. And that's why I am very, very blessed to be partnered with my good friends over at Jace Medical. You can go to patriot.tv/meds, patriot.tv/meds, and you can stock up on all kinds of pharmaceuticals. That way you're not beholden to big pharma, big government. It seems crystal clear that Americans need to wake up. Maybe not you or me. Maybe we're very well aware of the challenges that we're facing, the need to deport illegal aliens, the need to continue to maintain our secure borders and not have them decimated by a future administration. We need to codify our border security. We need to make sure that we're able to get out as many of the illegal aliens as possible. And just in case, I know I've said it 2 or 3 times, just in case you missed it, I am a legal immigrant. I love this nation, and I would welcome more people like me to come to this country as soon as we can get the tens of millions of illegal aliens out. I'm not one that opposes immigration by any means. I think that proper legal immigration, especially merit-based immigration, is a positive thing when it's done right. I'm not going to get into H-1B visas right now. That whole idea that we need to import talent, that's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm talking about is the standard immigration here into the United States of America, bringing in the best people, right? That makes sense at a limited to a limited degree, but really we can't even do that at this point. There are just far too many illegal aliens that are destroying this nation, whether they want to or not. I'm not suggesting that every illegal alien is out there with the intention of destroying the nation, but there are many of those. There are definitely people out there who want to destroy this nation, who came here illegally, and that does include a whole bunch. I don't know how many, but a lot of terrorists that have infiltrated the nation during the Biden era. So we've got to get rid of them. We got to get rid of just overarching. We need to remove illegal aliens who are here in the United States of America, currently tens of millions of them. That's not going to be an easy task. It's not going to be able to get done during President Trump's term. This has to be an ongoing thing until the mission is complete. Border security, great. Maintaining it, awesome. And then deporting every illegal alien that's in this nation. And look, I'm not trying to be unsympathetic here, but there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, and let's face it, tens of millions of people came here the wrong way, so they need to go, period. Call me callous, or, oh my gosh, what about my buddy who's been here for 30 years? Sorry. Not sorry. I hate doing shows like these sometimes because it's like I got to be the bad guy, but somebody's got to be the bad guy. Somebody's got to say, no, we can't try to figure out some way to work around this. This is a massive problem. Massive. Continues to be a massive problem. We stopped the bleeding, but the internal damage is still done. Okay? And it's still going. It's still harming us, and we need to get that fixed ASAP. Lord willing, I'll be back very soon with another episode. But in the meantime, y'all stay strong, stay safe, and God bless.